In this episode of the Range Minded Podcast, I take a class and it's awesome. I'm going to tell you about it. Plus, there is an important court case happening that you need to be paying attention to because not many people are. It's a big deal. Anyways, that and a bunch of other stuff like GunCon, big deal coming up. Anyways, I hope you enjoy this episode 236. I'm calling it The Three-Headed Dog. Anyways, hope you enjoy this episode of the Range Minded Podcast. All right, gang, welcome back. I know, like, where the hell have I been, right? I think it's been a couple weeks since I put out a show, and I'll tell you why. I know, I always beg for your forgiveness when I get a little bit lazy, but I had a fairly good excuse. I've told you in the past, I've been a little bit tired. I don't know why. This is not the excuse, by the way. But I don't know if maybe it's just I'm overweight and diabetic or something. Who knows? I don't know. Who knows? That's not the deal. It really was. If I can spit it out, man, I'm struggling talking tonight. Okay, we're good, right? We're good. Now let's actually make things happen. Well, welcome back to the Range Minded Podcast. As usual, it's me, Steve, your host. Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks since I had a show come out. That being said, last week I was going to film some content to do a show, but it just wasn't possible. It was not physically possible for me to do. And we'll get to it. We'll get to the reason why. But first, you guys hopefully watched the last episode with Josh Best. He sent me something. Let's open it together. See what he gave me here. Kind of stoked. I don't get gifts in the mail. Gee whiz. What did he fill this thing up with? Oh, I do. This is great content right here. I got a little knife. Well, I'll probably cut myself in the meantime. So that should be pretty damn exciting too. So, I guess while I'm doing this, we can talk about where I was last week. So like I said, I had planned to record some content. That was my phone, just throwing it around. I traveled to Boise. I was actually supposed to meet up with Nick. I saw him for about 30 seconds. But it's all good. We were going to record a show while I was over there. I actually brought some stuff to do it. He ended up being so dang busy, as well as I, that it just didn't work out. What was I doing in Boise? Well, I think I hinted to it. Oh, dude. Did he give me more than I thought he... Oh. Josh, seriously, bro. This is exactly what I thought it was going to be. Plus more. Holy cow. He filled this thing up. Josh, for reals, bro. For reals. So, patch, obviously, is going to go... Ching! I can't even figure out where my patch is in my camera. So, and then an 1156 patch, absolutely rad. You guys totally know how I feel about patches. A bunch of stickers, which obviously I like stickers too. But, dude, there's so much more. This is freaking awesome. Josh, dude, I'm blown away, bro. He even sent me a little note. Dude, is this good radio? Is this good video? Let me see. This is what he says. Steve, thanks for having me on the podcast. It was a great time. He started to write something, but he scribbled it out. Not that you're a bad speller or nothing. I look forward to connecting maybe in person in the near future. Thanks again, sincerely, Josh, 1156 Productions. Badass, bro. But no, this is... Bro, I got to get this framed. How cool is this? Can you see it? Signed. It's just light from the camera. Bro. Freaking rad. I'm floored. I appreciate it. Patches are going up immediately following the show. I could probably do it right now, but it'd be really boring. Thanks again, Josh. Okay. And if you guys, let me carefully, you think I'm not messing with that? Let me carefully put these things away. If you see me looking left or right, that's actually the monitors of me recording. So sometimes I don't look at the camera. I look at how ugly I am in the camera. So that's both up here and up here. They're both whatever. Steve, whatever. All right, so what was I doing in Boise? Am I going to get to the damn story or not? Yes, I'm going to get to the story. So you guys may remember Ryan Atkinson from Fieldworks. We had him on the show 2 years ago. It's been a while, hot minute. So Ryan has done a lot in executive security. He's done. He's taken care of a lot of people, a lot of top tier famous people that all of us have heard of. Great dude. Very knowledgeable. Some of that knowledge he's gained has come from various top tier classes that he has decided to compose a class to share that knowledge. He spends a lot of time with Ed from Ed's Manifesto. I know a lot of you, if not all of you, know who that is. If you don't, look him up, because that guy has got some crazy stories too. But with him, so Fieldworks, that's who Ryan is. And then you have Grizzly Medical. And then you have, sorry, Jason, I'm totally going to screw this up. ADS, I think I should have looked it up. Advanced Defensive Systems, I think is what it is, out of Southern California, LA. And Grizzly, I think, is out of LA as well, Grizzly Medical. Anyway, they compiled this class called the Cerberus class. And if you know, I think it's Greek mythology, the Cerberus is the three-headed dog that guards the underworld or something, which is cool. If you've seen any of the Fieldworks shirts lately, there's the three-headed dog on there, and it's Ryan and Dan and Jason. I think it's Dan. Oh, dude, I'm so sorry. I should remember. Anyway, this class was absolutely insane in a good way. So I was able to acquire a seat, number one. Thanks, Bishop Defense, for that. We're going to have you eventually on the show as well. I absolutely appreciate it. You're a stud. And all your employees as well, as not to only to leave out SimShot Meridian, which I also need to get you guys on the show. We actually talked about it. I don't know if you watch these episodes. I don't know what to do with my hands, but we're going to have you guys on as well. All of those dudes are solid dudes. Solid people. Anyway, back to the Cerberus class. So, started on Friday night. I left here. I'm in eastern Idaho Falls area. I left here about 11:30, 12. By the time I got to Boise, Meridian, it was at the SimShot Meridian facility. I got there and class started an hour after I got there. So Friday night was just like a get to know you. Here's what we're planning on doing in this class. Here's some things to expect, which I'm telling you, they don't tell everything well, that's not true. Hindsight, yeah. They do tell you everything that you're going to experience in the class, but you just don't realize that you're going to experience these things in this class. So day one, Ryan sits down. We talk about a bunch of stuff. They go through a short PowerPoint. We go, and all of us go have dinner. Obviously, he doesn't pay for our dinner. We get to pay for our own. But it was a good time. All of us hanging out. There was like 13 students, 15 students. Good class. It was a good class. Maybe 11. It was an odd number. I do remember that much. But it was overwhelming. I didn't have time to count the students, because once you get there, you are learning the whole time, nonstop. So, day one, awesome. Started at 5. It says 5 to 7, but we finished up about 8, maybe-ish, 8:30, and then broke for dinner. And then Saturday morning, 10 o'clock. I know it doesn't sound early. It really wasn't. But 10 o'clock, back at class, and crank on the fire hose. So in this class, Grizzly Medical takes care of trauma, like a trauma class. Tourniquets, learning how to save somebody's life, basic CPR, which I know they don't call that CPR anymore. How to recognize certain wounds, how to take care of some major situations, stuffing wounds, identifying pneumothorax, that kind of stuff. Great class. A class that everyone should be taking, at least a medical class. I'm doing this thing with my hands again. Something that all of us should be doing, especially if you carry a life-saving tool. You need to be taking some kind of medical class. And Grizzly Medical, I cannot recommend them high enough. By the way, they do have a class coming up in Boise, which is a 2-day medical class, which is akin to like a TCCC class, but probably not as dynamic, as intense. But dude is it's a great class. Very knowledgeable. He was a medic. He knows his stuff. He understands. He's done it in the field. Great class. If you have the means and ability, look up, pardon me, burgers for dinner. Look up Grizzly Medical. Again, if you're in the Boise area, he has a 2-day class coming up. Just jump on his website. He has the information there. It is also going to be at Sim Shop Meridian. Again, great dudes, great facility, awesome place to learn, awesome place to train, and a great class. Don't miss out on it. I don't know what the cost is. He's not paying me to plug this class. You just need to hit that class up. I promise you will not regret it. Okay, anyway, so we have Fieldworks. We'll get to that, his portion, because, man, there's a lot there. Grizzly Medical, we talked a lot about the medical side of things. And then Jason Arbuckle, holy shit, ADS. I'm terrible. I should be remembering these names, but I'm telling you, my brain was fried after this class because of all the info. We talked about Libre, right? He does Libre stuff. You guys already know, if you've followed me for very long, that I do greatly enjoy edge weapon work. I hate the term weapon because it's only a weapon when it's used that way, but it is a life-saving tool, just like a fire extinguisher or a seatbelt. A knife is a knife. I guess I better put my hands down. A knife is a life-saving tool that can be used very versatile. You get what I'm trying to say. So in the Libre stuff, there's a lot of strikes, eye strikes, side gouges, that kind of stuff. Solves a problem. Solves a problem quickly. A knife is an awesome tool when you're up close. If you have the means and ability. And Arbuckle talks about the ability. It is awesome. I tend to get nervous on the offensive use of a blade, but I do feel that there's a time and a place for that kind of ability, for that kind of knowledge. And I think Libre is actually pretty cool. It's fun. It's fast. There's quick strikes. It's amazing. We got to try it out on. Do I say this? Yeah, the pictures are online. We get to try it out on. In this case, it was a goat. Boy, it sounds weird when you say it this way, doesn't it? What'd you do this weekend? Well, I turned on tourniquets and stabbed a goat. That's what I did, basically. Sounds really strange, doesn't it? Nonetheless, it was great knowledge because you get to see and feel and understand how the blade works in your hand, how those skills relate to the real world. Awesome. So let's jump back to Ryan and the fieldwork stuff. So you got to remember, all this stuff is pumped into 3 days, and they do all of them pitch in a little bit on each day, and it's just like so much information. With Ryan, so Ryan understands a lot. I already said that in the beginning, right? He's done a lot of private security work, bodyguard, all over the world. He's been to probably just about every country in the world. I'm sure there's save a few. Very experienced guy. I'm not going to share his stories. It's not my business to share his stories. He shares some stories in the class. That's up to you to go to the class and listen to those stories yourself. I'm not going to share them. I'd probably ruin them anyways if I tried. Nonetheless, he taught us a lot of important knowledge-based skills. Understanding the environment, looking at things, learning how to exploit for the things that are around you that are necessary to save your life if something is to happen. I guess that's the best way to put it. It was awesome. Absolutely awesome. There's more to it. I'm not going to share the rest of the class, but we go into illegal restraints, say you're kidnapped. There's some abilities there that he addresses that we do share a little bit of time with in this class. It was fun. It was mind expanding. I wouldn't say mind blowing. In, I guess, some case it was mind blowing, but it definitely broadened my horizon and made me realize how much I have no clue about things. So I need to be diving in some more of this stuff. Pretty amazing. pretty awesome class. Would I recommend it again? 100%. 100%. 5 stars. In fact, that's what I put on the Instagram post is 5 stars would go to it again. Okay, there's a caveat with this class. If you spend any time around this caliber of instructor that's had a lot of real world experience, you're going to understand that they may not communicate the way that you're used to. You have to let that out the window, and you have to absorb the knowledge that's being shared. They say things in a different way. They use words you may not like. It doesn't matter. Let that stuff slide, because the knowledge that's in there, that's embedded in this information, is top notch. I guess I'm a little bit callous to this kind of communication because I've worked with military dudes. I've worked in the oil fields. I've worked construction my entire life. So I'm around colorful language all the time. It doesn't really bother me. So if you're planning on seeing one of these classes, you're like, oh, I might take my wife or my daughter, be warned. Okay, that might not be, it might be a little coarse for them to grasp. Next caveat, and I'm not going to share too much about this because you need to have this the test experience. I'm going to call it the test because that's exactly what it is. It's not an easy test, and it's required. Well, I don't know if it's required. I think it is required to pass the class, but you will be expected to demonstrate all the skills that you learn. And there's a very specific way each one of these skills are presented to you to test on. You need to have some fortitude. You need to be able to control yourself to pass this test because it is stressful. But it is 100% worth it because you will have accomplished something that you weren't sure you could do. Those of the other classmates that went through this class with me, because I know some of you guys will be watching this, you will understand exactly what I mean. If you've taken a Cerberus class before, you will understand what I mean. If you jump online and you can look at some of the pictures that they've posted on Instagram, you'll look at them and be like, there's no way that happened in that class. It did. And that's during the test portion. I know that's incredibly cryptic, but I want it to be because I cannot ruin this experience for you if you take this class. I would recommend you taking this class. It was awesome. Ryan's a friend of mine. I get it. That's not why I'm trying to increase his bank account. It has nothing to do with it. I want you to gain the skills that are being presented in this class. And the only way you're going to really gain these skills is by completing the class and completing the test. That's just the way it is. I know that doesn't make any sense to people that are watching or listening that don't know who Ryan with Fieldworks is, who don't know who Ed's Manifesto is. Just take a class. I don't know when the next Cerberus class is going to be, but just follow Grizzly, ADS, and Fieldworks. It'll all be posted. Okay, I'm sure they're going to share it. It's worth it. Awesome class. You probably can't see it. I'll take some pictures. I got some, maybe you did. If you saw my Instagram post, and maybe it was on the TikTok as well, you saw all the patches and stuff with the mask. I was going to use the mask in the class. I just left it in the car the entire time. Great class. Got some patches, which obviously I love. Awesome class. Whew. Okay. Let's stretch out a little bit. Got a little excited. So I had to accidentally close some windows here in my excitement. So there's some things we need to talk about. Let's just say, man, that got really bright when I opened my screen, didn't it? I guess that's what computers do. Let's just say, well, I'm going to ask you a couple questions. Let's see how you are at answering questions. Okay, this is nothing about Fieldworks anymore. That commentary is over, and I'm still waving my hands. Look at me. Did you? I just realized what I did. Never mind. Lost my train of thought because of that. Thanks, guys. Thanks a lot. So I'm going to ask you a question. Is it legal in the United States for you, according to the Constitution, according to law, is it legal for you to build your own firearm and keep it for personal use and not build them and sell them as a business without a license? The answer is obviously yes. In the United States, it's always been this way from the beginning of the country's inception, that yes, you can build a gun for yourself. You can use that gun for recreation or defense or whatever. It doesn't need to be serialized. You can build yourself a gun and use it for your own purpose, and not sell it for profit. As long as you're not doing a business for profit, you're fine. Or distributing firearms as like a federal firearms license holder. 100% legal. Have you ever can you think of a time that the federal government may have overreached and prosecuted somebody for building their own firearms within the law? I know of one for sure, and that's the one I'm going to share with you. It has happened. It's happened to a man that I consider a friend now. A good dude. I haven't spoken to him physically face to face, but I've talked to him online. Unfortunately, I'm not going to have him as a guest on the show. He's currently going through a court battle. So he's not going to be able to say much anyways to jeopardize his case, right? Great dude. The man is amazing. And let me introduce you to him. And I'm going to share this stuff in the show notes, obviously, because it's important. His name's Dexter Taylor. Now, Dexter is, I don't like calling him Dexter. On Twitter or X or whatever the hell it's called now, he goes by Carbon Mike. So I'm going to call him Carbon or Carbon Mike through the rest of this little story. But his real name is Dexter Taylor. Dexter is I just did it. Dexter. Dexter is a 52-year-old, like a software engineer or something from New York City. Great dude. Solid dude. The man has an amazing voice, by the way. If you want to be entertained by a man that should have be on all radios across the United States or the world, follow him. Carbon Mike on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Carbon Mike. Cool dude. Absolutely cool guy. Anyway, so he realized at some point that he's a handy guy. He builds furniture. He does all sorts of, works with his hands. Pretty smart cat. Well, he realized at some point that he didn't know he could, but you could purchase things online. You could mail a receiver out and build an AR. He was stoked. He was super excited. So that's what he started doing. He started building guns for his own use. As far as I understand, he wasn't selling them for profit. And this happened for, a period of time. I don't know, a couple years maybe. Somehow, the state of New York caught wind of it, and they decided to prosecute him. So he, one night, he likes to listen to audiobooks. So he turned on an audiobook and was slowly falling asleep when he hears a bang and a thud, flashlights under his door, and his door kicked in by a SWAT team. It's ridiculous. Now he's being faced, there's no federal charges, but he's being faced with state firearms charges in the state of New York for simply exercising a right that exists. He did not infringe on any state law or any federal law. But what did he do wrong? So when I was talking to him, he linked me or shared me this story of a podcast that he was on before the court case, or his hearing, I should say, just started. I think the middle of last week, just started. And the state of New York is not presenting a very good case. Every once in a while, he'll pop up on Twitter Spaces and he'll talk about some of the things within reason of his court case that the state of New York is not. They're not doing well. Do I have faith that the state's going to lose the case against Dexter? I don't know. I think they're making an example out of Dexter. So let's see. So this is on the Red State. Again, I'm going to share this article. This has been happening. He's been dealing with this for several years. This particular story took place on December 15th of 2023, and he was on. Let me scroll down here. He was on, I guess it's the Red State podcast. Anyway, he talks about his full case and everything there. Obviously, I'm missing a bunch. I'm water skiing over the top of it. This is obviously way more in depth than what I'm giving it credit for. But let me jump up here. So the district attorney identified, and I'm reading straight from this article, the district attorney identified the defendant as Dexter Taylor, 51, of Brunswick. He was arraigned today before the Brooklyn Supreme Court. Justice Phyllis Chu on a 37-count indictment in which he is charged with multiple counts of second and third degree, multiple counts of second, third, and fourth degree criminal possession of a weapon, criminal possession of a firearm, prohibition of unlicensed frames or unfinished frames or receivers, and one count of an unlawful possession of pistol ammunition. So that's why it's just a state case right now, because those are just asinine state laws within the state of New York. So his attorney, at least at this time, was it Vino Vargas? I think that's how you say his name, is obviously standing up for Carbon Mike, obviously, because there are serious breaches of the Constitution, of his constitutionally protected rights. The state has overstepped their bounds. It sounds like the state is having trouble creating a case or an argument for this case, but it's just asinine. Again, quoting later on here. So, Zavar, what we did actually, I think this is from, I don't know who's it. I think this is from the city or the state. However, what we did was actually got the numbers from the NYPD. It took about 8 or 9 months to get them. When we got them, it showed that it would have been futile for Dexter to have applied for a gun license because he has less than 4% chance of getting a gun license. So, okay, this was later on. I guess I should have talked about that. So they're saying that he should have applied for the FFL, but like New York grants like 2% of all license applications. So it was impossible for him to actually apply and get one, which was ridiculous. Let's see. There was a couple other things. So obviously they're going to use the Bruin decision, NYSERPA versus Bruin, as a basis, right? Because we understand that in the Bruin case, which I think we talked about the Bruin case, maybe we need to do that again, that everything that New York State has been doing is a blatant spit in the face of the Constitution. Anyway, this is an important case. This case could be you, it could be me, it could be anybody that has built a firearm before. I know pretty much all of us, or a vast majority of my listeners, of you guys, my friends, have at some point assembled an AR or a Palmer 80 pistol, or, for example, I didn't buy it off a kid, it was an actual frame. I built a 1911 with my bare hands. Lots of work, by the way. It could be any of us. So this is ridiculous. The thing that Carbon Mike is doing, one thing he said, which is 100%, is he said to somebody, what about this black guy? Because he's African American, he's a black dude, and he's a conservative, and he is a conservative isn't fair. I guess it would be fair. He's not right-wing extremist. He's not a Looney Tune. But he believes in the Constitution, and he believes in the freedoms of the United States. And he 100% stands up for him. If you are not following Carbon Mike, you are crazy not to on Twitter. He's amazing. Not crazy amazing. Like I say, he's not a Fruit Loop. He's solid. He understands his rights. He understands gun law pretty well. And the man can debate. And he's got such an amazing voice. Like, If only my voice was half as nice as Mike's. You'll see when you hear him. Anyway, he's saying like, hey, what about this black man's rights? Like, what about my civil rights? You know, we had people marching in the streets for another black man, but when it comes to a conservative black man that actually has a enumerated constitutional right for self-protection and the right to keep and bear arms, and nobody's doing a damn thing. And he's right. He's 100% right. That goes to show that there's so much hypocrisy, and it's just a damn game. So you need to be following this case closely. It's finally starting to get some traction. I think Firearms Policy Coalition has done some stuff on it. I think he was on Dana Lash's show a few years ago, and a couple of years ago, or last year, whenever it was. But it's just like I had never heard of this case until I started following him on Twitter. Like, I had no clue. But I'm telling you, this is a big deal. Nobody's talking about it. They're just kind of glancing over it. But the thing is, Carbon Mike's case is all of us. If you and I don't have a right to build a firearm in our own home, not to sell, not to be an arms dealer, like in that case, yeah, you need to have a license. Sure, 100%. You need to have a Class 7 firearms license so you can produce and sell guns. I get it, and I'm okay with that. But to go after Mike for something that just because he lives in a shitty state, it's ridiculous. It's just asinine. So please, if you have the time, follow him on Twitter. Again, he goes by Carbon Mike. He spends some time on Spaces. I've learned that Twitter Spaces is a lot of fun as long as you jump on the right one. I was on one, listening to one the other day. I didn't really chime in. It was supposed to be on it was a gun debate, gun law debate, and it was supposed to be from somebody that's super anti-gun, and another guy that I followed that I wouldn't say he's extreme pro-gun, but he's got actual good knowledge about what the Constitution means, at least in my perspective. But what it ended up being was just the anti-gun dude was all over the board, and I just couldn't listen to it anymore because I think gun laws came up maybe 2% of the conversation, and it was just a waste of time, which is sad because we need to have these hard conversations. I'm not saying we need to give up any more rights. I am not giving up any more of my constitutional rights, but I think we need to have some conversations. That was my computer. I need to tell it to shut up. You're ruining my show. So pay attention to this case. It's a big deal. Again, if you're trying to find it, this is under the Red State, RedStateGuncon or something. Anyway, you could just look up his name, Dexter Taylor Brooklyn lawsuit, and it'll pop up. Good solid dude. Oh, would you stop already? I'm going to tell you to hush. There. Good grief. Sorry. Okay, big news. I'm going to get my phone out for this because this is huge, and it's kind of a big deal. So you know that I am planning on going to GunCon this year. The Range Minded Podcast will be there. Come hell or high water, we will be there. We have some space there, and I am so stoked to be there. This should be a good time. So there's like a ton of manufacturers that are going to be there. This is at Grinnell, Iowa. Gosh, I do it every time. Iowa, where the corn is. Grinnell, Iowa. The headquarters of Brownells. World headquarters. It's going to be Saturday, the 29th of June. Let me just pull this up so I get this correct. Got my trusty rusty phone in front of my face. I know I could use the computer, but I actually it's easier for me to do this on my phone right now. I know it's not very skilled for me just to look at my pooter or my phone compared to my computer. But let's start with this. So it's June 29th. I just looked at my computer instead. Here it is right in front of my face. June 29th, 10 a.m. in Ohio, Iowa. Gosh, why do I have such a hard time? It's a Brownells, okay? It's a Brownells. So tickets just went on sale. I want to say they're like $50 a ticket. And I know, well, that's a lot of money. Sure, but it comes with food, it comes with a t-shirt, and it comes with your chance to win all sorts of prizes. So it's a good deal. If you're counting lunch on that ticket as well, and a shirt. I mean, think about it. The shirts are what, $25? So that means you're at least getting a ticket and food for $25 to go to a huge gun event. Now they're going to have a huge. I did it again. There's a couple of big panels that they're doing. A ton of content creators, not just me, but like the big names are going to be there. They're going to have all sorts of different panels. Maybe I'll find a way to sneak myself on a pile. Hint, hint, John, you need to put me on something fun. As if John really listens to this. You guys know who John Patton is, right? Yeah. Anyway, good times. Tickets, he just actually posted a post on Instagram that tickets are half gone already. And that was it. I think like 3 o'clock this afternoon. I'm recording this on the 27th of March. I've been really tired. Between this class and working late, I've been tired. So please, if you have the means, jump on there. GunCon.net is where you can purchase your tickets. Hopefully there's still some left. It should be an awesome time. Again, it's going to be June 29th in Iowa. I can see it right there. You better jump on it. I bet hotels are already sold out. Luckily, I better double check. I'm pretty sure I got my hotel room already reserved. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a great time. And I hope to see you guys there because it will be cool. It should be really cool. Anyways, other things going on. That's like the main content of what I wanted to share with you guys. Let me minimize this because it's driving me crazy. That's really the biggest thing I wanted to talk about today. Man, I've been talking fast. Do I talk fast? Like, when I share content with you guys, do I rattle off too fast? Is my brain working weird for you guys? Because I thought for sure I was at an hour, and we are like half hour in. We're not going to talk about that yet until it comes closer. Let me ask you this. So, speaking of Twitter, I posted a poll. I really like the poll feature on Twitter. I'm learning as I go. I'm not a very good Twitter exorcist. X-Man. Ooh, X-Man. But I do like the poll feature that's on there. So I constantly will throw up a poll about one thing or another. One of the polls, let me pull this up because I can only look on my phone because I text it to our friend Adam Boyce from Spartan Mode. So I text this to him today, actually. Maybe it was yesterday. So my poll said this, okay? Oh, can you guys hear that? My mic is acting funny. So, assuming you have taken a basic handgun course, what is the next class that you are going to take? Okay, so I posted 4 options. There was first aid / TCCC. Second option was a basic carbine class. The third was a defensive handgun class, which in my mind, basic or a concealed carry class is like it's basic. So defensive handgun was number 3, and the last one was edged weapons or edge defense. Now, the results of this poll is what surprised me. And maybe some of you guys, oof, can you guys hear that? Wow, maybe it doesn't show up on your end, but man, it gets like really bad. So the results of this poll is what shocked me. So the number 1 answer in this poll was first aid and TCCC. Great, because you are far more likely to need medical training than firearms training. It's 100%, right? You are far more likely to need that. So that was 57%. So over half of the people voted for TCCC first aid. The next one at 29% was basic carbine. Okay, I get that. The one after that at 14% was a defensive handgun class. Okay, I get that. But at the very bottom, at 0%, was any kind of knife stuff. That actually blows my mind. So I get 100% that we need medical training. That should be the number one goal as a concealed carry holder, whether it be knife, mace, gun, whatever. First aid, medical, that should be top of the heap because it's important, very important. God forbid you watch your spouse bleed out because you didn't have a tourniquet. All right, I mean, it's a big deal. But nobody, not one person, said, "Hey, I want to learn about knife stuff." That just really surprised me. Like, what do you guys think? I don't know if you listeners, if you're not following me on Twitter or any of these other spaces that we've been doing, is it X? Should I just call it X? I don't know what to call it. I'll still call it Twitter. I'm a hardliner there, I guess. If you're not following the show on Twitter, X, whatever, Instagram, TikTok, I know TikTok. Don't do TikTok. I get it, but I got to get exposure for the show. You need to be following us those places because I'm trying to push things there, right? But what do you guys think? Do you think other than medical, because that should be number one, would you be willing to take a knife class? Do you think that's important? Let me ask it this way. Let's just say if the podcast presented a knife class, would you take it? See where I'm going with this? Right now, that's just a question. Just a question. Okay. What else is new? How's the weather? You guys been shooting? You guys been taking any classes? This it sucks because we're a quarter way done with the year, and this Cerberus class was the first class I took this year. Not complaining that I took the class because it was absolutely stellar. But I have plans. Have some plans to take some more classes. I'm going to be spending some more time with Spartan mode. We're going to be working on some things this year that should be a good time. What else? Yeah. You know what? Just because you've earned it, I'm going to pop open a drink. What do you guys, I know this is not gun related, but what do you think about all the craziness that's going on in the world? I mean, we see that the stuff in Haiti, which is absolutely nuts. We see ships running into bridges because, I don't know. Had an interesting conversation on Twitter Spaces today, actually, with a merchant marine. Merchant seaman, I guess I better not say it that way. A dude that's been on ships. And he brought some clarity to the situation in Baltimore that was refreshing and nice to hear somebody that actually knows what they're talking about. And he doesn't feel that it was like a terror attack or anything like that. I tend to believe him. He understands that stuff. He's ran shipping containers like that. Shipping container ships. Big boats like that before. So I tend to believe what he has to say. I don't know. He did say something that surprised me. Did you know that those big vessels have flight recorder, basically like a black box on them? So they've recovered it. They can now examine all that data and find out for sure what went on. What he was saying, it looks like they had some kind of electrical malfunction. The power went completely out. When you have, what do you say, that boat loaded weighs more than an aircraft carrier, which is nuts if you think about it. So you have all that energy, that inertia, and if you have no way to control it when the power goes out, I mean, what do you do? So, and then you see all the black puff of smoke come out. Those things are run off huge, what do you say, 100,000 horsepower diesel engines, which is amazing to me. So they must have seen what was going on. They cranked up the power as fast as they could, but I don't know. It could be a terror. Like, he's not saying that's not what it was. He says, sure, it's possible that there was some foul play there, but from his experience, he says it just looks like a tragic mistake. Just things worked out in a bad way. I guess we'll see. But there's other crazy things going on. Did you guys see the dude chewing on a human leg? I think it was in San Francisco or wherever. I'm not going to link the video in the show notes, but it's floating around out there. Black Scout Survival first talked about it, and I had not seen the video. I didn't know what he was like, whatever. And then I think I was perusing through Instagram. Another side note we'll get to in a second. When I see the video of this homeless guy eating on a human leg, and you can't tell at first until the dude turns around, and here he is with this drumstick looking thing with a foot attached, just chewing away. So I guess what had happened is some other homeless person lost, must have been sleeping on a railroad track or something. They lost a leg in a collision with a train, and hungry dude decided, hey, I need a leg up in life. I guess I'll just go for this one. And that's exactly what he did. Pretty gross. It was raw. That's the other thing. Like, he didn't cook it. He just decided, I wonder what raw human flesh tastes like. Crazy. But when we add that to the Haiti thing, which I know we haven't talked about yet, that is super nuts. Not to mention that we're going to have a huge flood of Haitians trying to escape what Trump endearingly calls a shithole country. I guess it probably fits that fashion. Yeah, like, what are you doing to prepare your family protection-wise? You see what I mean? Are you guys preparing? Are you storing food? Do you have a way to get good, clean water? Are you learning skills, hunting skills, skinning? When you go hunting, you need to process that meat. You might just say, well, I'll take it to a butcher. Yeah, that's great. But let me tell you my experience with going to the butcher. We butcher a cow every year. My father-in-law raises cows, so we buy a cow every year. We take it to the butcher, and we get our meat back. But we don't get our meat back unless you have a good relationship with a butcher, or you're doing it yourself. You most likely are not getting the meat you drop off. I learned that maybe not this butcher, but a lot of times it's just meat comes in, they butcher it and fulfill the next order. Meaning you get all these cows in, but you got all these other orders to fulfill. It doesn't mean that you're getting the cow you dropped off. Why is that a big deal? It is a big deal to me because I know how that animal has been cared for. I know the vaccines the cow has. I know where what grass the cow's eaten. I know what grain it's fed before it's let off to the butcher. I want my cow. So that long drawn out story is maybe you need to learn how to process your own meat. Not like the homeless dude eating the flesh of a dead human, but learn how to butcher. There are butchery classes out there available. Side note, when you learn how to butcher an animal, some of those skills correlate to defensive knife use. I know that doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but it does. The more knife classes you take, the more sense that would make. I'm not saying that knife defense includes severing flesh off of the bone. No, that's not what I mean. But you understand what an implement can do to flesh. Sounds really creepy when I say it that way. Hopefully you get what I mean. Hopefully that didn't sound too gross and psychotic. So learn to hunt. Learn to get water. Learn to process the meat that you do hunt. Our forefathers did that for generations. We've just been so spoiled over the last 100 years plus with these amazing conveniences. And here's the thing is, those conveniences are so fragile, they're so easily taken away, that when they do disappear, we're not going to know what to do. Here's another question, as we talk about classes that you might take. Would you guys be willing to take an outdoors class, a wilderness survival type class? That stuff fascinates me. I have never taken one of those classes before. I know people that teach those classes, but apparently I'm an a-hole and I don't ask them to teach me. But I can see now, as this world progresses into a strange nightmare, the classes like that, there might be some knowledge that could be gleaned and used in the future. Food storage. Forever, preppers have been laughed at and teased. Do you guys remember the story of the Little Red Hen? Did your parents ever read you that book when you were little? My mom did. That actually was one of my favorite books as a little tyke. The little golden book, Little Red Hen. Come on, you guys, you got to remember this. It's all about the hen preparing and doing all its work, and putting in the labor to get its own reward. And all these other animals in the barnyard I know the chicken, the Little Red Hen, she knows what she's doing. I'll just eat some of her food. But when the time came, nope, sorry, you're just going to die because I'm not sharing my labor. Well, that sounds kind of callous too, huh? But let me tell you something. When the world goes extremely bad, people aren't going to be able to volunteer and give up what they have because they have to provide for their own. So we need to learn to provide for ourselves and our family. And once those needs are met, then we can share. That includes defense. That includes resources. Kind of a big deal when you start thinking about it. This world is not the same as when we were kids. Not at all. I know I've said this ad nauseum. Kids my age would go to high school with windows rolled down and their guns in the gun rack in the back window of their pickups. That was not a big deal. Nobody stole their guns. Nobody worried that they were going to be a school shooter. I had some older friends. He's passed away since, but he told me when he went to Idaho Falls High School years ago, they had a rifle club, and they would meet in the basement of Idaho Falls High School. That school's still standing. It's an old high school in Idaho Falls, Idaho. Yeah, if you want to. Anyway, they had a rifle team that would meet in the basement, and they would shoot 22 rifles in the basement of the school. He also told me that he remembers a time, again, he's since passed away, good dude. So this was quite a while ago, but he remembers carrying his 410 into the school, putting it in his locker, going to school, talking to teachers about it. They all knew he had it. Taking the 410 out of the locker and then going dove hunting after school with his friends. Obviously, it wasn't the gun. Like everybody's saying now. That's not the issue. The world is just a different place now. It's so full of hate and discontent. The violence doesn't come from the tool, it comes from the person. I was going to say the tool, like air quotes. We need to get back to that. You know, I know this is kind of a boring monologue for some of you, but dads, husbands, men, if you're not married, what are you doing to propagate the species of humankind? What kind of a person are you? You're an example to everyone around you. Whether you want to be or not, whether you believe it or not, somebody is using you as an example. All of us are somebody's example. What are you doing to be the good example? The helper, the hero, the handyman, All of these are skills. They're not just something that we're born with. They're skills that need to be developed. I think what's happened over the last few years is because we've been so blessed with the conveniences of the world that those skills have gone by the wayside. We don't have to be nice. Women can open their own damn door. Why do I need to open it for her? She won't let me. It doesn't mean you can't be a gentleman and open it anyways. I don't need to learn how to fix a washing machine. I'll just pay somebody to do it. I'll just go buy another one. No, learn how to fix the damn washing machine. I don't need to know how to read a tape measure. I don't need to know how to fix a car. There's people to do that for me. That's what's missing in the world. I don't understand it. Like, it's sad. All these things are just a small aggregate of the big problem, right? They're just a small pebble in the concrete of the issue. Men, be men. If you don't know how to be a man, if you don't have these skills, find a place to develop them. Here's another question. If there was a class that helped you develop these skills, I'm not talking like how to fix a car. There's college classes for that. But I'm talking about being a man. About doing the hard thing. If there was a place to develop those skills, would you go? Would you take that course? Would you endure the suck for a few days to understand that you're capable of hard things? I know those classes exist. I know there's places to do that. But the very hardest step, the worst place is the first step. I mean, I've got books that I've bought from people that I want to meet. In fact, I've even reached out to some of these people. And they're like, yeah, give me a call. Give me their phone number. And then I'm too chicken to call. There you go. I'm guilty of it too. Man up, right? Don't fall into the tropes. Don't fall into the lies. The world needs strong men. The world needs leaders. You cannot lead if you are weak-minded, weak-spirited, or physically weak. You can't. There's always somebody to fill that void. You might be able to be artificial in some of those things. Maybe you have a lot of charisma, but that doesn't make you a man. It makes you a fraud. We need to be developing these skills. Women, it's okay to be a strong, independent woman. 100%. You go, girl. It's also okay to have a man around the house. It's all right. It's okay to let your man not seduce. That's not the word I'm looking for. Woo? Is it woo? Look up the old meaning of woo. I'm going to woo her, like impress her. Treat her like a queen. Treat her with respect. It's okay to find a man that does that for you. And don't settle for anything less. The world is full of scrubs. We don't need more scrubs. We need men. We need families. We need moms. I'm telling you, this just the stuff that bounces around in my empty skull sometimes. The key to the problems of what the United States is facing right now, the absolute key is the first words in the preamble. We the people. I've shared this before, and I'm convinced of it. We the people. That's the key. That's the fix. That's the pill for the problem. Is us. we have to stand up. We have to expect morals from ourselves, good moral behavior. And once we expect it from ourselves, we expect that from our neighbors. Once we expect that from our neighbors, and we get it, I guess, then we expect it from our community, and so on. The people that are our leaders, they're despicable. They're gross. Sure, there might be some good eggs out there, but I have a sneaking feeling that that is a very small fraction. We need to expect more. We need to be more. And that's the key. That's the key. But it's hard. It's a tough thing to swallow. All of us have to fix it. I've thought of some things after this class that I need to fix. I'm not talking, I need to be better at medical. No, that is not what I learned from this class. I did learn that. But there's something deeper that I learned from the class. I got to be better. The only way to survive, the only way to win is to be better. And the only way to be better is to man up, for lack of a better expression. It's time. We cannot fix the world without fixing ourselves first. And that starts in the gut, man. It starts right here. It's time. I don't want to see violence in this country. I don't want to see cartels kidnapping women and children for sex slavery. I don't want to see terrorists freely walking into this country. I don't want to see the chaos of the world, the hate from one religious group to another. I'm tired of it, and I'm sure you are too. We may not be able to fix what's going on in the other country. We may not be able to fix what's going on in another state, but we can fix what's going on within our hearts, and that's where it's got to start. With you and with me. Once that's fixed, it's contagious. I'm convinced of it. Listen, I'm going to let you guys go. That was like a 30-minute sermon. I appreciate you guys. I don't know if you like those monologues, but sometimes I just got to share what's in my heart. And that's just how I feel. Like it or not, I don't care. I love you guys. I really do. I appreciate you guys for supporting the show, for being here for me. It means more to you than you understand. Like getting these this stuff in the mail from Josh. I'm telling you, that means more to me than I think he understands. It means a lot. You guys hanging out for an hour means a lot to me. I appreciate it. If you want to follow the show outside of the show, obviously we have YouTube. Again, but we have Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and TikTok. I'm sure we're other places too. Just jump on the website. There's some other stuff, other deals, some affiliate links on the website as well. I got some stuff from Agilite that I'm trying to work out. That should be awesome. I'm still trying to work out some details there, but I got approved, so there's a start. But there's some links for Brownells. I think maybe they're not on the website. I need to fix that. But you can bounce around, see on my social medias. You can jump on those links. It may not mean much to you. If you're going to do the shopping anyways, it helps out the show, and that is awesome. We got big plans this year. GunCon is just a small part of that plan. I've been hinting at something bigger that I hope comes out. We'll see. That would be huge. I'm not going to say what it is, obviously, because there's no guarantees on what that is, but it would be massive. So, appreciate you guys. Remember who you are. My mom used to tell me this all the time. Remember who you are and what you stand for, right? As a kid, whatever. But it's applicable Remember who you are and what you stand for. When people see you, I'm telling you, you are an example to somebody. When people see your example, it's contagious and they'll follow suit. Be good. Take somebody shooting. The firearms family needs everybody. This country is great despite what we're being told. You guys are awesome. You rock. Take care.